Today I'm going to be playing a Patreon deck from Big Dave. So this is a Deathrattle hunter with Jewel of N'Zoth, which is something I've played in the past. But this deck is also using N'Zoth, God of the Deep, which changes things quite a bit actually. In order to fuel the N'Zoth, we've got Primordial Protector, which draws Nagran Slam or Jewel of N'Zoth. We've got Dark Moon Tonk, which is a mech, Burning Blade Acolyte, which summons a demon. Of course, we've got some beasts because we're a hunter. Death's Head Cultist is a Quillbore. And I guess we can always find something off Carrion Studies as well. We're also making use of the new Serpent Bloom. It's pretty good with Bloated Python because pretty often you play the Python and the opponent doesn't really want to kill it, so you can Serpent Bloom it pretty easily. And it's not too bad with Mok'Nathal the Lion either, since the Lion has Rush. So yeah, let's give it a shot and see how things go.
Sylvanas versus Rokara. I want to be a warrior. Victory for the Forsaken.
Turn 1 Shrim Crescent is nice. Turn 3 Cultist is usually pretty good. I could just start swinging at the weapon since I have 8 weapon charges, but I actually think there's a good chance this game is lasting more than 8 more turns.
I'm not too young to fight.
Alright, we can actually just kill this here, which is very nice. Disguised Wanderer is playable here. I mean, yeah, probably just take it because it's playable. It's pretty bad into the bumper car though, because the opponent just has 1/1s to kill my 9/1. And it does put 2 demons in my res pool, which is arguably pretty bad. I don't know. Was it ever better to just not play a card this turn? I guess it could have been. Floating 3 mana feels so bad though. And it's not like the other options were actually good. Vectus currently hits Cultist and the Disguised Wanderer. Certainly gets better if I can hit Burning Blade Acolyte. Looks like we have the mana for tracking here. A couple of really good cards. It's never the other copy of tracking. Tonk is playable next turn, but Primordial Protector, it's an elemental for N'Zoth, so that's kind of offset with Tonk being a mech. Am I ever playing N'Zoth on 9? I'll have Demon, Quillbore, and Elemental potentially. It's kind of a bad N'Zoth, but if it's between Primordial Protector and Nagran Slam, it's probably fine. I think I like Protector more. Death's Head Cultist and Disguised Wanderer. So yeah, we hit the low roll 1 and 3 off the Vectus here.
You aren't even ready for this.
These old bones just keep moving.
Here for a good time. Here for a good time.
Alright, give me something playable. These are not exciting, but Bloated Python is something new for my N'Zoth, right? So probably play that. So we've got a Death's Head Cultist and the Disguised Wanderer. I could trade these into the 2/2 and then use the Disguised Wanderer Deathrattle to kill Playmaker. That's probably worth it.
Vengeance is near.
Or I guess I could...
I have no time for games.
Yeah, we can just use the Serpent Bloom to kill it. Now I have a 9/1 when my opponents played their Dark Moon Racers. I did leave the Parade Leader in play, but it's not super good when I have a big threatening 1 health thing. So Primordial Protector's hitting a 10 drop next turn. I know Scrapyard Colossus would be really good. Are there any other good 10s? Dark Moon Rabbit? The Old Gods are kind of bad. There's only 2 of them, though. Deathwing would be bad. I mean, assuming that I'm under any pressure. If I'm not under pressure, then any of them are good, because they're just stats. Seems like Yogg is definitely going to be the low roll, though. Oh, that's really bad. God, Mutanus is so annoying. I mean, I think hitting N'Zoth was preferable for me.
Fast is fine.
But I wanted to play N'Zoth.
Is fine.
I flowed a lot of mana playing Deadly Shot here, but that thing was really big. And I can't play the Grand Slam off this next turn anyway, so whatever.
I'm gonna be the best.
These old bones just keep moving.
Push the attack.
Alright, got myself a 12/12. I don't think I'm ever dying from 15, so 12/12 is pretty darn good. Might even just have a lethal with Slam next turn, although that makes things more difficult. But I can use my weapon to kill that with Deathwing, and then Deathwing still can go face for 12. I go face for 12, my opponent has 9 health. I think this is always lethal, if I did the math right. And if I didn't do the math right, I do just lose the game here, but I think I did the math right. Beautiful. Alright, so I've played a good handful of games with this deck so far, and the performance has not been great. But that's okay, because I feel like I have some pretty solid ideas on what needs to be done. First things first, we're going to cut Barak Kodobane. We currently don't even play a 2-mana spell, which is just bad. I have to imagine this deck probably had a 2-mana spell in it at one point, and then the spell got cut, and we forgot to cut Barak. But we can cut it now. And if we're cutting Barak, then we cut Deadly Shot as well. Just weak cards all around. And from here, I think I just want to drop the curve a bit, because there's a lot of aggro going around. Deathrattle, Demon Hunters, Shamans, things like that. So I think I want to drop the Grand Slam for sure. It's just too expensive. And I think we're going to cut the Primordial Protector as well. We just don't need the value with Double Jewel plus N'Zoth. Alright, so we've got 5 deck slots now. And there are definitely more than 5 cards I'm thinking about playing. But let's go ahead and start with Talon Fordring. It's just an insane taunt minion. It finds our N'Zoth. It just definitely should be in the deck. I also think we can play Fishy Flyer in this deck. It's a Murloc for N'Zoth. It's a Deathrattle for Jewel of N'Zoth. And off both of those, it's a Rush minion, which just tends to be pretty good. I think the other addition I want to make is Augmented Porcupine. So I discovered in a recent Hunter deck that Augmented Porcupine's Deathrattle actually works with Serpent Bloom, and that's particularly good on Mok'Nathal Lion. So since we already play Mok'Nathal Lion and Serpent Bloom, I think it probably makes sense to just play the Augmented Porcupine as well. It's not necessarily going to be the best beast off N'Zoth, or even the best Deathrattle off Jewel of N'Zoth, but I think it does just make sense in this deck. One more change that definitely isn't necessary, but I think is probably going to make the deck better, is swapping out Dark Moon Tonk for Claw Machine. Still a big mech with a Deathrattle, but it's just a little bit cheaper, and the Claw Machine can also just help us find other minions to support the Jewel and the N'Zoth itself. Plus, when you revive it with those, it has a relevant keyword, whereas the Tonk just kind of sits there. So yeah, I think I do like these improvements. I was also pretty interested in just cutting Loot Hoarder, but Loot Hoarder is currently our only 2-drop, and there really just aren't any other 2-drops that I want to play. So I guess at the moment we can leave the Loot Hoarder in. But if there's any other 2-drop that seems at all appealing, the Loot Hoarder is the card I want to cut. But with Carrion Studies and so many 3-mana minions with Deathrattle, that's also kind of a 2-drop as well. One last change that I want to make that's kind of just for fun, I just want to see how it goes, is I want to swap out Rendling's Rifle for Venom Strike Bow. We did cut Deadly Shots, so Venom Strike Bow is kind of a replacement for that. Rendling's Rifle is a really good card, but I kind of just want to try out the bow, see how it goes.
Sylvanas versus Anduin.
The light shall bring victory.
Victory for the Forsaken.
I don't think I like tracking on turn 1. Yeah, probably not. You do love to see Python into Lion.
In the dark, the light shines brightest.
What does this one even do? It's a holy spell, reduce its cost by 2. Okay. Well, the Mok'Nathal Lion's really good here.
Best day on the job.
Pain and suffering await you.
Not cool. So far, it seems like my Jewel of N'Zoth is not going to be great. It's going to hit Python, Porcupine, Loot Hoarder. I would definitely like to find, you know, Burning Blade Acolyte, Talon, Claw Machine.
In the dark, the light shines brightest.
That's going to be a lot of Reliquary Primes to deal with. I should probably be trading off Loot Hoarder here, actually. I'm floating 5 mana currently.
This is not what we stood for.
Alright, so Talon draws Claw Machine for next turn. That makes all 3 of the res cards in my hand way, way better. Claw Machine is actually just sick here. Serpent Bloom is also pretty sick. Venom Strike Bow is also pretty sick, but I think this is for sure a Claw Machine turn. It's just definitely the best way to spend my mana. So these 2 Deathrattle minions haven't died yet. So I believe that means Jewel of N'Zoth hits exactly Talon, Claw Machine, and Loot Hoarder. Which is pretty good, Talon, Claw Machine. So, if neither of these die, I'm pretty sure I'm playing Jewel next turn. If one of them dies, maybe I play the second Claw Machine next turn. I definitely don't want to see a Soul Mirror here, obviously. But that's only 1 card in the opponent's deck. They only have 1 random card in their hand, I believe. Oh, I was really expecting that to draw Vectus. I forgot about the Burning Blade Acolyte. But Burning Blade Acolyte's really good as well, since I have N'Zoth in hand. I'm kind of tempted to play Jewel of N'Zoth here to get another Claw Machine. But at that point, I'm going to have like 5 minions in play that draw cards, which is probably a bit much. So
Victory is in my grasp.
let's use this Venom Strike Bow, I guess. There's also a pretty good Serpent Bloom. Pretty strong combination. I think my Vectus is pretty good here. My Claw Machine is also pretty good. Oh, my Claw Machine actually value trades. That's kind of sick.
Victory is in my grasp.
Didn't realize I had mana for tracking this turn, but I do. Seems like it should be easy enough to get Mok'Nathal Lion value at some point. So I didn't really have to play Claw Machine here since I have the poisonous weapon, but I have so many Reliquary Primes potentially to deal with, although my deck tracker says only 1. I guess I have dealt with 2 already. But there's also like another Raised Dead. There's just a lot of stuff I might have to deal with, so it's kind of nice to have this weapon in play for when I need it. Speaking of needing my weapon. Not sure how big that is at the end of the turn. I guess it doesn't really get that big. Oh, it has 13 health. I lied. It got really big. So yeah, that for sure needs to die to Poisonous. It's just a matter of how. Against Priest, I think I'm allowed to just tank 14 here. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Tank 14, play Vectus. If I play Vectus, there's a reasonably high chance that I hit 2 card draw cards, which might not be good. Maybe the play here is just like Mok'Nathal Lion, copy Claw Machine, poison the Lion, and then just like tempo down a Fishy Flyer to get it in the N'Zoth pool. That's a big Death's Head cultist. I think it's pretty good to play Fishy Flyer here, though, because of N'Zoth. If my board gets full cleared, then I do just want to play N'Zoth next turn, I think.
My blade seeks vengeance.
I've only seen one Apotheosis. Alright, looks like that's all I'm gonna see, though. So I'm pretty sure I just play N'Zoth here. It does hit Claw Machine and Fishy Flyer. Does it hit any other card draw? Not the Demon. None of the Beasts. Not the Quillbore. So I think if I just play this True Aim Crescent, I'm fine. So use the weapon here since I want to play the True Aim Crescent. We can take a nice value trade. I end with 7 in hand and 2 things that add to my hand. Very nice.
Sylvanas versus Thrall.
Victory for the Forsaken.
Alright, looking forward to playing the Shaman. Shaman's been giving me trouble so far, so looking to turn it around.
The calm before the storm.
I don't think it makes sense to double hit this. Man, I have a lot of healing this game, huh? Double cultist into double cultist.
The calm before the storm. Push the attack.
Mok'Nathal Lion for good measure.
I wonder. Turn up the heat.
Porcupine into Lion is really appealing.
Push the attack.
There's a good chance they just bump here, but then like I can Vectus and still copy the thing with Mok'Nathal Lion.
Oh, you built this for me? There is little time.
Sure.
Push the attack.
Make two toys of them.
So it looks like the weapon really wants to go into my Vectus, which means my Porcupine might survive. Well, I don't mind that Hex. Alright, Talon draws N'Zoth. I've played a beast. Wait, have I played a beast? Well, it's easy to play a beast. Played a Quillbore. And I've played a mech.
I wonder.
Well, that's kind of scary. Poisonous only works if the minion actually does damage. Otherwise, I could poison this and then use the weapon to bump in. Let's just go ahead and kill it with Zixor. Could have used the Mok'Nathal line to copy the Zixor Deathrattle, but I don't think that's really that good. I'd much rather copy Burning Blade Acolyte if possible. The Jewel... Let's see, I've played a Porcupine, Zixor, 2 Death's Head Cultist, and a Claw Machine. It's a pretty darn good Jewel.
Push the attack.
I got the Claw Machine. That was the only one that was, like, significantly different from the others, so it was a pretty good hit. The next turn I have Lion plus Acolyte in the same turn. I could actually use Lion on Talon to draw N'Zoth and Zixor Prime. That might be better. I don't know. Depends how things play out. It's not a super good Alec here. I'm definitely just copying this one. I can play Carrion Studies for free, sure. Claw Machine. Rush is always nice. I think N'Zoth is probably not even getting involved in this game.
Never be afraid of your inner power.
Alright, this could be pretty strong, actually.
Little time.
Unfortunate. Oh, that could be really strong. Okay, it was really strong, but it is not good enough. That definitely keeps the opponent alive. Oh, no need to play Talon. Let's just go Jewel here. N'Zoth is overkill, I think. Oh, that's insane off Claw Machine.
I wonder.
That's a strong 3-drop. But my opponent needs, like, Lightning Storm. I guess Landslide is the card they'd be more likely to have, but I really doubt they have any AoE in that deck. Oh, Dunk Tank, sure. Dunk Tank doesn't even keep them alive, though. I beat Taunt Totem because I have Rush minions. Very nice. Happy to pick up that win because I have a really bad record against Shaman so far. Alright, so I played a bit more after making my changes to the list. And the deck did perform a little bit better, but it was still not really worth playing, I would say. The deck is just too slow, there's too much aggro. I'm playing against like a ton of Shamans, Deathrattle Demon Hunters. Actually, pretty much every matchup I played was Token Druid, Deathrattle Demon Hunter, some sort of aggro Shaman. So yeah, I mean, it's just a bad archetype to be playing in that meta. If you do insist on still playing the deck, I would probably try to make it a little more anti-aggro. The way to do that, I guess, would be adding maybe like Armor Vendor. Cut like Vectis Venom Strike Bow for Armor Vendors. Seems okay, I guess. Another minion maybe worth playing is Animated Broomstick, but I don't really know what we would cut to make room for it. We'd probably have to cut the Burning Blade Acolyte. Or maybe we cut the True Aim Crescents for Animated Broomsticks. Similar effect. We only get 1 use instead of 4, but we don't have to take damage. I don't know. I will say, though, that I was a little bit concerned about cutting too much of the value at the top end. But I went 2-0 against Priest, so I don't think I'm too worried about that. I think we just have enough stuff. The only slot in the deck that I really don't like right now is the Loot Hoarder, but if we cut it, we don't have any 2-drops, and there's just like nothing to play on turn 2. I guess maybe we can play Acidic Swamp Ooze in this slot, because Doomhammer was destroying me. And Loot Hoarder is also like particularly bad against the Demon Hunter hero power, so like maybe this is a change we could make that improves the deck. But even with these changes, I think it's probably not worth playing into at least the meta that I'm playing against right now, which is 76% Shaman Demon Hunter Druid.